Well, welcome. My name is Chris Mierzwa. I'm the Senior Director here at Commvault for our Global Resilience Programs. I'm thrilled today to be joined by Jos Meijer. He is with Data Balance. Jos, thank you for making the time today. I can't wait to dive in a little bit to your background. Maybe we start there and then just talk about the magical world of data resiliency. How's that?
Yes, of course. First off, thank you, Chris, for having me. I am a technical lead backup and recovery for Data Balance. I have a 15 plus year track record of Commvault. Started with 8, and we're already in version 11. I've seen a lot and looking forward for the next few years.
Exciting. Clearly, 15 years is a long time. You've seen us go through a lot of changes, but more importantly, we're exploring today what the industry's done and to get your perspective since you're working with many different clients from very large to probably SMB. That's an incredible perspective. So let's start right off with a real zinger, if you will. You've gotten a chance over 25 plus years in the business to see probably an enormous number of changes architecturally and frankly attitude in how clients address backup recovery and resiliency overall, right? So if you look back, what would be the top couple of changes, good, bad, or indifferent, that you've seen over your career in that space?
The most obvious change is that people often looked at backup and recovery as just backup and recovery. It evolved to a major player in their strategy regarding how they see their data, how they want to protect their data, and how they interact with their data, especially if they look at security wise. Previously, they had backups next to their production environment without any security measures. It was just a basic installation and next finish. And now they really look at segmentation of the networking, advanced security technologies to divide their data from their productions. The attack plane will be not as obvious for attackers as when you combine everything into one environment. That's a major difference. A lot of it has to do with CISOs who have a more prominent position in the discussion nowadays.
Yep.
For was all the technical guys. That's a major difference.
Yeah. Let me ask you, you brought up, that's an interesting point you made, and you've used the security word multiple times. So let's go there. We have a lot of discussions. Everybody's got a lot on their plate. The backup recovery folks, right, trying to handle their side of the shop. Security, of course, is enormous. And of course, the lines blur between a number of these areas, right? Ones that we're not even mentioning, especially legal, et cetera. But how, if you look at today, where people say security and data backup and the resiliency teams need to communicate more, especially if they're not in the same organization, have you seen people make positive strides in that communication, or do you still continue to see a challenge with those security groups and the data and backup folks really talking and interacting as much as they should?
It really depends on which sector you are looking. I move a lot within the government sector. There you can see that the interaction with security and technical folks is more present, but still as if you have islands within your company. There's a differentiation regarding who talks to whom, but the information flows easier between the departments. That helps to interpret what is required. If I'm looking at the commercial sector, then not so much.
Things fall apart a little more there. Here's, do you think that is that just kind of legacy silo issues, or is it just an overwhelming amount of things on those independent group plates that are just not allowing them to communicate? What do you think the challenge is there?
Think it's more in the line of guidelines which are laid out within the structure of the organization. Government has a progressive attitude towards guidelines. They want to achieve a certain goal, which is defined within government guidelines. And a commercial business still has their own agenda regarding financial offset versus what it will mean for them on a technical advantage. Not many businesses, unless they are quite large, understand that they are actually safeguarding their data for real issues in the real world, which are endangering their company and their operation. That mindset is still evolving within the commercial business.
It's amazing as I sit here and I think about that, and we have so many discussions around this, and I'm sure you do as well, that even with all of the attacks, even with all of the data points for people to look at, that communication bridge is one that I say we, because as a community, whether you're a partner, a manufacturer, an ISV, or an endpoint customer, still have to work on that. Just maybe to close this thread up, a piece of advice, since you get to walk into probably very heated situations or you have to probably be a mediator in some ways, right? To bridge those when anomalies happen or you're architecting things. What piece of advice would you give folks to say, look, I know you got a lot on your plate. Here are some initial steps you can do to ensure that, communication and strengthen it. What would be your advice there?
My primary advice would be focus on a proper segmentation of your production data and the backup data. Make sure it's not easily reachable. There are many options which are not heavily on the resources or manpower even. It doesn't have to be a costly effort to achieve such a setup. Just make sure it's secure.
The weight of your words is being aggregated by commercial and government clients, right? Names obfuscated to protect the innocent, but this is a lot of telemetry from a lot of different people that you're giving advice for, so appreciate it a great deal. That said, for everybody who's listening, I don't know where you find the time. So first off, I'm going to say that, but thank you. You're very, very active in the Commvault community, not only probably gaining knowledge, of course, for yourself, but you're very generous in giving back to the community as well. Maybe just if you could spend a minute, what drives you to do that? I mean, clearly you've got a lot of responsibilities. How did you kind of get started? And, any advice for folks who are interested in doing that themselves?
Enjoy the interaction with people to investigate what they want to achieve and which possibilities there are within the software at hand. Setting up labs, figuring out what's possible, what's not, looking at the edge of development currently. And when Linux consoles were first talked of, I tried to migrate from Windows to Linux, even if it wasn't supported, to create a ComServe LiveSync setup, which wasn't implemented by default, to work through the tunneling from Commvault. So I set that up and worked it out into a step-by-step interaction for people. That kind of stuff motivates me to develop my own information and my own skill set, but also to interact with people to find common goal and go work on a subject together. It's motivation for me on the long run.
Thank you. That pushing the envelope there. I get a chance to tool around and take a look at the community threads and the number of, call it give backs, like you just mentioned that you do to the community, step-by-step guides. There are people that you're helping so they don't have to reinvent the wheel when they try the same thing. Or even if it's a derivative of what you're doing, it gives people an enormous head start. Right. Sometimes we get that feedback. And so, hopefully you get it directly in the community where people go, thank you, Jos, this was absolutely incredibly important for me. I'm sure there's a lot of unspoken thank yous as well. All right. Well, now I'm going to date myself with the 8-ball reference, which was the oracle of tell-all right back in the day. So, beside you, of course, asking, hey, Commvault, and I'm sure you're involved with a lot of other ISVs as well and solutions where you're giving the same type of feedback. But what do you see happening in this space, in the recovery space, as it moves more toward resiliency and security? If you kind of put your crystal ball on, or what would you like to see us do and others to make not only your job easier, but more importantly, make things easier for the clients who are implementing these architectures?
Oh, that's a difficult question because a lot is going on currently. A lot of developments which are already in place, where or at least Commvault is moving towards a Linux strategy is more in play. Security insights are more in place. So everything which is a common sense perspective is already ongoing. So if I would have to say something which is not currently, at least from which I don't know it's in play, Commvault's doing a lot of good things.
I know it's not an easy question, but I will, if I could, tag on the AI piece. So you are, look, there's probably clients who tell you, Jos, we're just beginning our journey here. We're starting very small, but it's going to hopefully be something that will drive revenue and efficiency and all the things, of course, that AI promises. But I'm guessing you're getting looped into some of those conversations because the data that's being used to create either small language models or full LLMs that your client have to be protected. And there's a lot of people scratching their head going, do I protect that the same way? How do I make sure? Because now I've made it even easier. We all know this. If it wasn't already a challenge when a bad actor comes in and breaches and pulls disparate data sources, aggregates them out of band. Well, now, if they get the mothership with the LLM, they don't have to aggregate different sources at all. They literally have the tell-all possibly in one monolithic language model.
Regarding your previous question, what I would like to see is that there is a deeper integration. If you look at the command center currently, information is being gathered, granular information of data is being gathered, all the metadata, etc., which is now is really reliant on the hardware you have in place on your data center or at the MSP or whatever you use. And looking at the amount of data and the importance of the data, it would be very nice if there is a more centralized integration with, for example, the AAS service of Commvault to export this information daily basis, or whatever frequency, so that if there is a situation in whatever sense, you can fall back to a cloud perspective and still have insight in the metadata which is relevant to, for example, retrace steps within an attack or get company-specific information back if you are hit and your on-premise situation isn't safe enough to mitigate. The cloud will support your on-premise situation. And now it's more divided solution up until now.
Cloud recovery and aggregate, especially clean room, and how you differentiate that data. Now, to your point with AI, there are a number of things. Look at API access, the rate that the OpenAIs, the Anthropics, Google Gemini, et cetera, are all moving. I have a feeling we're just at the beginning of seeing how these MCP servers and the APIs in general are going to get extended on both our side and their side to bring to fruition what you're saying. Need telemetry, and it's got to get more substantial as folks start rolling these solutions out or these new AI-based architectures out.
Very curious in what matter the AI will integrate in the solution, or if it's more a support tool to get to a certain solution or purpose, because AI is still searching its way to have a complete truth. Well, you can ask a lot of things. Manipulation level is still too high in order to have a fully AI solution. I'm really looking forward how that will evolve and how the stability of the results will be in the future.
The unspoken piece, which I know you're probably in a number of conversations as well, is no matter where the clients may be on AI or however slow or medium speed or whatever speed they're taking it at, assume that the nefarious actors are operating at a speed that's an order of magnitude faster than that. We always want to be glass half full. We have got to keep one eye open that these AI-based tools, these technologies are absolutely a headwind for clients with respect to, resiliency, right? I mean, these actors are just too smart, too fast.
They just fire something on you and you don't stand a chance, because what took maybe days in the past is now only hours.
And only getting faster, right? And hours to minutes, and God forbid we get to sub-second, then we're in for real special times. Just end on this. Any advice you have folks should do? It doesn't have to specifically be in the backup recovery and resiliency space. You've got a lot of experience, and if there's something you want to leave folks with, the floor is yours.
I would advise anyone to listen to each other, make use of each other's insights, and look at the global picture together so you can make a proper granular solution based on all the requirements and wishes you both have. I'm sure that something great will happen.
Couldn't ask for anything better to close on. Jos, I want to thank you again for, of course, your time, your just commitment to the community as both an individual and a partner. The time you give back is something we don't take for granted. And I just want to say thank you. And I'm sure everybody else in the community saying thank you out there as well as they listen to this. So have a great day and appreciate your time.
Thank you, Chris. Have a great day as well. Appreciate you.